To our Delia Gonsalves.
This former teacher tells me the nonstop harassment and bullying not only happened here at Langdon Education Campus, but at her second school, Naval Thomas Elementary. She says it happened between August 2014 and November 2015. She is still so distraught that while she wanted to share her story and her pain, she couldn't bear to show her face.
It really affected my life, emotionally, physically. I mean, I'm really scarred.
It took this teacher a long time to get to this place, to speak out, she says, against those who try to intimidate, belittle, and silence her. DCPS administrators and staff, she alleges, who mocked, shunned, even snickered at her because of a disability due to a chronic medical condition.
It hurts me even more so because this was done in front of the students. And the students, some of them took part of this. I went to everyone that I was supposed to go to. No one helped.
Her attorney, Eric Williams, says this is more than just a couple of bad characters. This discrimination, he feels, is systemic.
There's a crowd mentality, and that when leadership doesn't send a clear signal that certain behaviors won't be tolerated, then others follow. And that's what happened at both schools.
I know I'm not alone. Unfortunately, outside of the system, someone will listen. And I know what they're going through. And I just encourage that they be strong, resilient, and then they'll have a voice like finally I have.
Delia Gonsalves, WUSA 9.
The D.C. Office of Human Rights nor the D.C. Public Schools would comment on this ongoing lawsuit, but DCPS did emphasize, based on its policy, that discrimination of any kind would not be tolerated.
So I don't walk up here anymore. Just, at night by myself, you don't know what's going to happen.
As we were interviewing this neighbor about her fears of the strange men squatting in this vacant home, we spotted a man and followed him. We're from Channel 9.
We're from Channel 9?
We've been getting complaints from neighbors that people are staying in here. Sir, some people are complaining about drug activity.
All right.
Is there anyone on drugs who's staying?
No, basically, you ever heard of the synthetic drug K2? Yeah, that is not drug activity. It's just
K2 is a serious drug, sir.
Oh.
It's a serious, dangerous, mind-altering drug.
All right.
Where's the county stepping in there and calling on developers to board up the property?
Irene Xenos has led the neighborhood battle with the Vienna-based Spectrum developers who have let this former Geico building on Leesburg Pike turn into an eyesore for a whole year. But unlike the no trespassing signs posted around this site, there are no such signs on this home and a second house around the corner, both overrun by squatters who some admit to using drugs. And while police cleared these men out without approval by the owner, police tell neighbors they can't make any arrests for trespassing.
I don't want to become a victim. I don't want to have to feel like I need a guard around me to walk my dog outside. So, yeah, it's a problem.
Who's to blame?
The developers. They're breaking their promise to us. They've told us they were going to be good neighbors.
We are protecting this little girl's identity because she is underage and she's really had a difficult time. Her mom was on drugs, so her grandmother was raising her. After her grandmother passed, she went right into the foster care system and has been in that system for several years now. She left our interview in tears, but had a very powerful message for any other kids going through the same thing. Are you safe? Are you okay today?
Yes, I'm safe. I'm okay today.
But school wasn't good.
No, school wasn't good today. The kids was like saying, that's why you in foster care, don't nobody love you.
Where were you sleeping?
In the laundry room by First Street. You go down the steps in the little laundry room and it got like little cubbies where people, you can see through it and I can see people covers and stuff. It's a table I put the cover over the table, I laid down, I just put the cover over top of me. Sometimes when I was in there, some nights people did see me and they was like, you don't live in here, like, get out. So I just walk around till the sun come up. Men would pull over and be like, get in the car, come on, sweetheart, I'll give you a ride, and I would run. Yeah, I was scared, but I felt as though I'm not about to sit in somebody's house that's not taking care of me the way they supposed to.
And what made you turn yourself in?
What made me turn myself in was when I first went away, didn't know, I wasn't on the news at first. I was just chilling and somebody wrote me and was like, you're on the news. And I was like, I don't believe it. And they sent me a screenshot of me on the news.
What do the adults in your life in the city government need to do to make you feel safe and secure so you're not running anymore?
They need to look at the foster parent houses and look at like how they treat the kids. If you all like on the run right now, just like, I don't know if you want to go back, but I would prefer for you to go back because people out here getting killed.
So far this year, there have been 501 young people missing. Only 18 cases remain open. Police say at this point in the investigation, there is no indication that any children were abducted or victims of sex trafficking. In Southeast, Delia Gonsalves, WUSA 9. We came straight to the Department of Child and Family Services to get to the root of the problem and offer a little perspective on these cases of missing children that have us all concerned.
Panic doesn't help anybody.
But a lot of you are panicking. So what went wrong?
The one thing we probably could have done a little bit better was to give it some context before initiating the list of the missing girls and the missing kids, and said, look, this is something we've been doing for years. The numbers have not ticked up, but we're just expanding our outreach by using social media.
Director of DC's Child and Family Services, Brenda Donald.
In a foster home or the few kids we have in group homes, they're required to notify us if the child does not show up on time. And so it could be as little as a few hours, but we do have to file a missing persons report.
The difference? Police never put their faces on social media before. That explains why 18-year-old Venetia Weaver told our Mike Valerio that she was reported missing, though she texted with her social worker the whole time.
We should not feel safer on our own roaming the streets than we do in the people that the government's putting in their house.
And remember her? I spoke to this formerly missing girl on Friday. Her allegations of mistreatment at her foster home had us thinking and asking questions.
Certainly we take any allegations seriously and we'll investigate them. Children who come into foster care clearly have had a history of trauma. A lot of them have mental health issues, and our foster parents and social workers are all trained to respond to that trauma. But certainly things happen.
Some folks who still believe that, well, this is just a cover-up. We're covering up the real issue here, that there's something bigger at play, more sinister at play.
You know, that's so ironic because I think we're being more transparent and then being criticized for being more transparent.
It's other foster kids that's out here that's going through the same thing as me that need help like I need help.
It is a community problem and it's ours to solve as a community.
At the Navy Yard Southeast, Delia Gonsalves, WUSA 9. This is the 2400 block of Elvins Road Southeast where 68-year-old Vivian Marrow, the wheelchair-bound grandmother, was killed right here. She was heading to the market. This is why we have police staged across the street and large lights flashing and spotlighting this neighborhood to keep it safe. Now, get this. We know that 123 out of the 187 police cameras in the city were hacked between January 12th and January 15th. Vivian Marrow was gunned down right in front of her own home January 16th. Now, I've already confirmed with police that this police camera was not recording the morning of the murder. After several attempts to reach out to MPD, I finally got a hold of them today, and they confirm, a spokesperson telling me that in fact this camera was hacked. Now, everything is up and running, but a source close to this investigation tells me if this camera was on and recording, it would have offered a much better view of this crime and the suspect who ran right through here, gunning down Vivian Marrow before running into the complex. Now, police released surveillance video, but it was awfully grainy. The murderer is still at large. The police spokesperson says This crime and this investigation was not impacted by the ransomware. So what do you think? We're in Southeast. Delia Gonzalez, USA 9.
Whenever there's been a spike, at least I can say in this community, people jump on it.
And they did. Neighbors in Hillcrest Southeast immediately took to social media to talk about the spike in burglaries, posting a picture of this man who they say tried to rob contractors working on this home.
And even when they pursued him, that didn't keep him from coming back a second time.
For weeks, neighbors posted surveillance video of the culprits lurking around in the dark, peddling stolen bikes, breaking into a car. Cameras even captured this man creeping down an alley with someone's lawnmower.
That's actually how I found out about the bike.
This was one of those bikes ditched in a nearby alley. Monica Bell says her son's bike was stolen from the detached garage.
It's like, really? You come back to the same place?
For the second time. Now the bike and her husband's golf clubs are stored in the living room until they install security cameras.
It's a low priority, I think, but it does impact our quality of life.
When in fact someone comes into your home, onto your property, that's no small thing.
60 Police Commander David Taylor says they're on it and are close to solving the cases.
We wear the uniforms, but we don't know everything.
If the city, the police department deployed more resources to our neighborhood, then we could feel more comfortable about living here.
Personalities. We kind of just match up with them.
2 years into this love affair, and Keisha Bowles is still riding high.
I absolutely love it. When I talk about it, I get emotional. It's a tingly feeling. It's evolved my life and helped me to grow as a woman and to get through the grieving. I used to come here depressed, and no one knew. But as I rode, it got better and better, and I started feeling better and better and better.
To truly understand why, we have to go back to the black and white Western she would watch with Mom as a child.
I found out after she passed that she used to ride, and she had a horse. I never knew.
And the Bill Pickett Rodeos, the country's only all-black rodeo, Mom would attend.
She would go every year. She would always ask me to go, and I said, no, I don't want to go. And this one year, I said, I'm going to go. And I remember sitting in the audience, and it was maybe 2 or 3, no more than 3 women in the entire rodeo. And I was sitting there saying, I would love to do that one day. I wonder how they learned how to do that. And my mother passed about 2 or 3 years after that. And 2 years after that, I was in that rodeo with these girls.
The Cowgirls of Color, one of the country's first African-American women's rodeo squad. Pinky, Britt, KB, and her sister Penny.
I've never seen horses in the city unless it was a police officer on it. So to actually be able to come out and ride horses and be a part of this cowboy community and rodeos and things like that, it was just like, wow, how did this happen? 3
of the 4-member relay team just started riding competitively 2 years ago. Sandra Dorsey, who goes by Pinky, returned to her roots. She competed as a teenager.
I found myself again.
It's my teammates that push me. It's my teammates that get me confident.
The Cowgirls are not only competitors, they know they're mentors, inspirations, and teachers for first-timers like me. The Cowgirls are working to introduce riding to newcomers of all ages.
Press that leg, turn, 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 turn. Get him back on the fence.
Spreading the love and sharing the lessons.
The goal is to be able to reach our community and our sisters and just unite and help these horses and let the horses help us.
Empowerment, courage, freedom. This is the part that I want to introduce to the little girls. I'm like, if I grew up riding, and I can imagine where my life would be today.
In Calvert County, Delia Gonzalez, USA 9.